Yes, hello everyone. Welcome to another video today. So I'm going to be telling you a lot of tricks or a lot of tips about football agent. So first of all, everyone always wonder, oh, this football agent gets paid a lot. This football agent is so powerful, but none of you get to always find out why is this agent paid or why is this agent called a super agent and those other agents are just, let's say, mere agents. So sit tight. I'm going to give you some information why some agents are very huge and some are smaller, and then you can judge and you can see from yourself. So, anyways, take a pen and a paper, for you're going to receive very valuable information for this. It can help you in your agent work in the future. So, without withstanding, let's get straight onto it. So normally the problem is most people always just dream that agents are these people that just sign players and get huge money driving private jets and everything. No, no, no. There's huge thing there's a huge work being done behind the scenes. So first of all, to be a top agent, you have to know the rules and regulation. FIFA also adjusted the rules and regulation in 2023, and it has certain limits for agents that or it has certain limits for what agents can do and what agents cannot do. So you have to be able to find out these rules and be able to manipulate or use them to your advantage. Not manipulate, use them to your advantage. So the new FIFA rules and regulation became active in 2023. These rules are here to bring, of course, transparency, structure, accountability, and agent business to an elite level. Because before then, the agency was not regulated, as we all know. It was just something that most of the time people just come up with their parents are representing them normally. So no problem to the parents. The parents were doing a good job, but if someone doesn't know the rules and regulation and is representing you, you're going to have what we call amateurs in the business, and it's not going to be professional enough. And we all know that we all know that. So these are some few things you can know when you are trying to become an agent, or whether you are an established person, who you can represent, how much you can earn, what contracts you must include, when you get paid. Those are very valuable things. But also, as I said, stick together, for you're going to get the big news at the end. As I said, you're going to know why those people are always up there, big agents like the George Mendes and whosoever, and some other people are down this way. So that's very important. So first of all, you have to know as an agent that you can only represent one party per transaction. That's normal. You have to represent just one party per transaction. Gone are the days where you could represent multi representation, represent many players. No, you in a single transaction you have to represent one party. If you are representing a player, you are representing a player. So the big boys or the big boys agents, they know these rules and regulations to their fingertips. So they don't mess around, and they don't mess around so that FIFA ban them. So they keep on building their reputation. So first of all, either the player or the buying club or the selling club, you are representing just one. You cannot represent multiple, as I said. So let's take, for example, if you represent multi parties, you need to, let's say, it's only on one condition. Let's take, for example, if you are representing the buying club and the player, that is where, and you need a written consent for that. That is well stated by FIFA. You need a written consent for that. There's no way you can represent a selling club. Let me say Juventus is selling a player to Manchester United, and you are an agent and you're representing those both clubs. I have to give this as an example. So you cannot be that agent. You cannot do what Mino Raiola was doing back then, because it was banned. It has been completely banned. What you're just going to get yourself in trouble, and you're just going to get fined, and your license might be seized. So you cannot do those transactions. So yes, how much? Let's talk about it. Yes, how much you are also allowed to charge. We know this, that in countries, let me say, when players are desperate, a lot of agents or a lot of fake agents take advantages of that for the like take advantages, telling them that I'm going to take you to a club, but you're going to sign a contract with me to get 20%. You're going to get, I'm going to get 20% of the contract you sign of your salary. All those things are red flags. So the top boys, no, they don't mess around also with this. They stick to their plan, because when you start doing this kind of shady deals, FIFA is monitoring you, and at one point in time, your license gets seized, and you go back from square one. So the people who are always like the judgment is the elite people. They know, as I said, they know the rules and regulations to their fingertips. If FIFA say a player you are representing 3%, they do 3% because that's the percentage FIFA says you can represent a player. That's the commissioning percentage if an agent is allowed to charge a player. The big boys always follow the rules and regulation because they know if they mess up the rules and regulation, it can bring them down to zero level. So for transfers, as I'm saying, for transfer agents receive 3% commissioning when a player's salary is paid. So that is very important. You note down also. So let's be clear here. You cannot act as both as a player and as an agent. As I said already, you cannot act as an agent and as for both buying club and selling club. So you cannot do that. You're just going to get yourself banned. So let's give this example. As I spoke earlier, Mino Raiola. Let's take he's one of the most powerful. He was one of the most powerful agents, but of course he's of late now. He was one of the most powerful agents in the world. But he famously clashed with FIFA because FIFA restricted the representation of dual representation for representing, for example, two clubs, because he did that in the deal when he was sending Paul Pogba to Manchester United when Juventus was when Pogba was going to Manchester United. So he actually did that by representing Pogba as his agent, but he was in charge. He was the agent in charge of breaking the deal for Juventus and Manchester United. So that was in that deal. People say he got like close to 40 something million just for a single deal. So that was very huge deal that he did, and that also made FIFA to realize that people are taking advantage of the system here. We have to put some things in play. Yeah. So that was huge actually. So as I said, dual representation is a red flag. So you have to be very careful when it comes to the deals because you might lose your license. And for those who are also trying to get their license, these are things that you should already know before going into the business so that you don't mess up with your license. Because imagine yourself starting as an agent and then within maybe doing your first deal, you just get your licenses. So that will not be something that is tasty in the mouth. So you have to be very careful when it comes to rules and regulation of FIFA because FIFA has really tightened the rules because there's a lot of child trafficking, people taking kids for underage kids, taking them for more, taking them, promising them fake promises, bringing them, abandoning them in a lot of places. So FIFA has decided to really tighten the rules. So you have to be careful. If you're caught, FIFA may hold your license, and you know how the license means to you. You have been struggling to get the license for so long, and you get the license, and it's taken back within a twinkle of an eye. So you have to be careful and try. The advice I'll give to people is try to always read the rules and regulation because it's going to help you. Yeah. So let's look at this. So also normally before you're signing a player, let's take for example, before you're signing a player, there's what we call also representative agreement for players who are coming into the industry. Before you work with someone, you have to have a form from FIFA that is called you get that form actually from your FA. Your FA is like your football association of your country. Wherever you live, each country have an FA. So before you sign a player, you have to ask them of a form, and that form they can send it to you that you can fill the information of the player and your information. This is why FIFA has made this so that it's official. When you fill this information, you upload it to the platform, to the FIFA platform, that this is your client, and then you can represent that client in looking for him clubs. So the first information, this is very vital because I've been receiving also messages for this. Most guys asking me, okay, I have this player, how do I go about it? So this information I have to make it clear. So this is the process. First, you ask your FA to give you the form. That's your football association. And when you get that form, you fill your information. Everything will be clear, written in your language, in English or whatsoever language you have that you can translate it. You fill your information and also send part of the paper or the form to that player. There, his information, you will see, he will see a place that he can fill his information and fill also uh, sign or provide and also sign his signature. Then the form will get back to you where you upload it on the FIFA platform, and there you're good to go. So those are the basic things that you have to know. And also, as I said, why the big agents always grow more than the smaller ones, because they have studied this rule to their fingertips, and each time FIFA updates the rule, what the big agents do is they try to make them master it at the fingertips, because each time they are always on a board meeting, probably trying to sign or represent players, so they don't need to always think that is this rule right? Is it 3% now to represent or for commissioning, player commissioning? Is it 5%? When the new rule come out, the first thing they do is they try to master it so that it sticks within their brain. So this was one of the tips I was spoken to by an agent, that what they do that the smaller agents don't do is the smaller agents get their license and they just run into the street and looking for the next client to sign. Then when they appear, sign the players, they discover, okay, where do I go from here? I don't actually know the rules and regulation. What am I going to do? How do I speak to a sporting director? How do I communicate? How do I have the numbers of the sporting directors? So these are all things that the smaller agents, they don't know, and it makes them not to grow. But why the big agents, why they do the underground work, they learn the rules, they learn the networking skills, how to speak to sporting directors, how to be able to pitch to sporting director, because that is very important vital part. You can have someone's number, but if you write him, let's say a shady message, he's never going to reply to you, and that chance is gone. But what the big agents do is they master how to approach someone for a football club. So let's take, for example, the big agent, they go to clubs, they go to the website, they search a lot of sporting directors' numbers. Okay, they get it. They decide to pay them a visit. If they don't get them, then they try to send just a basic, simple message with their profile on it. So when the sporting director comes and sees that message and with a profile, he's allowed to reply. He can reply because he sees that, okay, this is someone who knows what he's doing. Or they still go to the club again, because what they are trying to do is they are trying to build also that networking, because in networking, face to face is the most powerful networking skills you can have, because taking the phone and calling someone, of course that works, but when you try to go to visit someone and speak to him face to face, because he knows you're not a robot, or you're not someone hiding behind computers trying to spam people, so it builds more reputation. It builds more reputation. I'm going to elaborate on this a lot when I'm doing another video on how big agents do get contact and build reputation with football clubs. That's going to be a massive one for most of you guys also who are trying to break football clubs, because I'm also going to give you my experience, how I started also getting contacts with football sporting directors everywhere. Yes, with football sporting directors to network and also build my reputation. So that will be a video for another day. So now, being a football agent isn't just flashy deals. Of course, it's not just private jet. Of course, it's a lucrative business. Trust me. Once you know what you're doing, this business is dope. It's a lucrative business. It's a business that you can leverage a lot of things. You can have a lot of, let's say, finance go your way because you know how to manipulate, or you know how to do things the right way. So stick to the regulations. As I said, protect your players if you have players, and build a solid reputation. And don't make mistake with the regulations, because your license is going to be pulled away from you as soon as possible. And hey, if you learned something new from this video, drop a like, share, comment, or also leave something that, or say, just leave a comment so that someone watching this video might also get something, a useful tip about it. So anyways, it was nice chatting or leaving this message for you guys. So yes, talk to you later or talk to you another time. See you and take care. I'm out of here. Cheers.